Bienvenidos, chicos. Que tengan buen provecho.
Yeah, we're going now.
Okay.
We're live.
So we went to Dr. Limon,
Yep.
Peruvian cuisine,
Not too far from campus.
right across the street.
Yep.
And what's it next to?
I have no idea.
You don't know what's in that plaza?
Taco Bell,
Okay.
KFC,
There you-
IHOP. Those are like the chain ones.
Yeah, so it's in that plaza.
Yes.
Okay. And so what were your first impressions of walking into a Peruvian restaurant?
That I remember when we walked in the door, there was like two people. I think the hostess, or hostess or whatever, and this other dude, and then we had like a quick conversation with him. But it was you talking the whole time, and I didn't understand a single thing because I think you guys were talking in Spanish. And then after a while, I just followed you to the table. Like no one led us to the table. You just went, and we picked our own spot.
Exactly. She said, sit wherever you want. And
Okay.
I looked around and I saw the back table was open.
Mm-hmm.
Figured
Yeah, and they had little limes on every table.
they did.
Yep. And they had one on ours, and then for some reason they took ours away.
I think they do that when everybody sits down. So maybe they know that table is not
Yeah.
occupied.
I felt like I could see limes at tables that they were sitting down.
I don't know then.
So maybe it's like
they didn't trust us.
we kind of just want to keep our limes and we don't want to give them to you because then we got to replace them. I don't know. That could be part of it.
What'd you think of the little kernels of corn?
Oh, the corn nuts?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever had corn nuts. And then they had like the little, it was like orange juice, but it's not orange, but it looks like the color orange.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a dip. So they brought it out in these tiny little cups. They're plastic, really thin. And so I was kind of expecting like, okay, we dip the corn nuts into this like little like dipping sauce and then it's fire. And then you told me that was a drink and I drunk it and it was so strong. It was like
you had to like sip
sour, but also kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had no idea what was happening in my mouth. So I was like, I feel a little bit uncomfortable drinking more of this.
Was it too citrusy?
No. I think more of it's like your brain is somewhat uncomfortable when you don't know exactly what you're eating. And I mean, I think part of that didn't happen with the corn nuts because you told me it was corn nuts. But when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know what this is. And it kind of looks like corn, but also like it's all these different colors as well. And there was like a part of me that thought it was like cooked bugs. And I was like, I'm going to wait till he says something about this to make sure that's not that. And so I didn't eat it until he said they were corn nuts. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it complements the ceviche and that acidity because it's super salty, so it works, and they pair it with that as well.
Got you. Yeah, let's talk about all the stuff that we ordered that day.
So yeah, for appetizers,
Yep.
I ordered us anticuchos, which is beef heart grilled on skewers.
Yeah. Wait, that was beef heart.
That was beef heart.
No way.
Yes.
I just thought that was normal beef because that tasted amazing.
Yeah. You get it medium
Wow.
rare. Yeah, it's beautiful like
that
that.
was incredible stuff, though.
How was the flavor?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I think
Was it too spicy or
no. I'm used to like drowning my stuff in like spice.
good?
So I think that what we had there, it was like a very flavorful spice that did not overwhelm like the taste of the meat or whatever, which I think was like really nice. To me, it doesn't like strike my brain as a spicy item. It just tastes good. Wow, that surprises me. Beef heart.
Yeah.
Now I could say I had beef heart.
Yeah, indeed. That's a traditional street food for Peru.
Yeah.
So you would see vendors on the street with little grills,
Yep.
and you'd walk up and buy a couple skewers for a few dollars.
And then we also had the little what are they called? Scallops?
Yeah, scallops on the
still
shells.
on the shell, and they had like this little like cheese thing on
It was
top.
covered in Parmesan cheese.
Yes, that was great too.
Yeah, baked.
And then
Really
you could
good.
just fish it out of there with the fork, and it surprisingly like kept together. So like you could actually just get it out in chunks and really get all of the scallop instead of just like clawing at the corners to make sure you get everything.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, it was great, dude. I will say I've had scallop before, but not with like cheese on top. It's always been like out of the shell and it's already cooked and you kind of just eat it by yourself. And I've had that maybe once or twice. But that's definitely like a new spin on it that I've never had before.
Yeah, that's another one of those traditional, like, street food / quick appetizers that they have in Peru. It's a very huge seafood and coastal country, so you're able to get a lot of great, seafood like that.
Yeah.
Another thing is you went for the lomo saltado, another like super traditional.
I'm super happy that I got it too.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It was great. Basically, it was like little pieces of beef plus red onion plus some tomato plus pepper, all on top of like a bed of fries and then like a little thing of rice next to it. It tasted great. I think it was like the perfect level of like salt that you could get out of the fries at the bottom. So if you were like, I kind of want to like, taste something, then you could go there. But also, I found myself really enjoying the presence of the vegetables, just so like the whole thing wasn't like one note. And I think that's the dish itself was like really nice because it wasn't super foreign. I think that ceviche, it was like that was like extremely new, and so I had some, but by that time I was already kind of full off the steak stuff. But that was awesome, and it wasn't even like super costly. I think I think it was 20 something for what you're getting. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think also it's like interesting you're mentioning how all these things, maybe like okay, the two appetizers we had, that being street food. But I'm seeing the prices of these appetizers and they're about like $12, $13, which is like, that's a lot of money for an appetizer.
Yeah.
But it's street food, which I'm like, yeah, that's like normally cheap food. So I'm thinking, I guess a lot of the cost comes from the fact that like you're just bringing it over here to the States.
Yeah, it's just not. It's an appetizer that they're going to try to mark up for profit. I mean,
That's
you
true
saw
too.
the things they added. They added all this extra corn and some potatoes. Normally in Peru, you get the skewer and the potatoes at the end of the skewer. And you get some ají, some spice that you get drizzled over your skewer.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. It doesn't come with all that corn and multiple potatoes.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's their way of marking it up. Same, well, if you saw like the other dish, it just came out with the shell with the scallop on it.
Yep.
There was no other fluff that came around with that. And it, like you said, 6 scallops for what, $12, $13?
Yeah, it's crazy. But what did you get again?
So I got ají de gallina.
Yeah.
Which is a shredded chicken in ají, like a cheesy ají sauce. And it's just over rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a very hearty, like home style meal.
You know what it kind of looked like? Because it had like it looked like yellowish brown. It kind of looked like curry.
Yeah.
Is it basically curry or different?
No, it's different.
It's different. Okay.
Yeah, because it uses the ají amarillo, the yellow pepper.
Got you.
That is really in every dish in Peru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yellow pepper.
It's like a very mildly spicy pepper, but it had so much flavor. And they put it in every dish that we ate except for the scallops had some version of it. Even the ceviche, both of our dishes, and the anticuchos.
One thing I noticed about the food we had there is, I think I mentioned this earlier, but like the way they treat spice. It's a lot about let's add the flavor and not make it too much of the spotlight. Whereas in like, I'm so used to Korean food where if something is spicy, you're going to know straight up. Like you're going to bite into it and it's like, wow, that's spicy.
Yeah.
And I've grown up so much on that where if I hear something like, oh yeah, it's spicy. And if it doesn't match my experience of just Korean food being like straight up, like, I'm like, oh, it's not actually spicy like you said, but it's the different kind of like, I guess, implementation of the way they handle spice.
Yeah.
And it's definitely new. And I think like
they went mild on us.
Yeah,
to be fair.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get anything too spicy off the menu.
Yeah, but they were asking me with like the ceviche, like what level of spiciness. And I was like, spicy. Like we can handle it.
Yeah.
But,
they spiced that too?
Yeah.
It just tasted like very like vinegary fermented. I didn't feel any spice. But okay, yeah, the ceviche. That's the first time I've had that. I'm so used to eating Korean fish where it's like cooked and hot. And I'm served with it with rice and a bunch of other Korean side dishes. And I guess sushi is like a way to eat cold seafood, but that's more Japanese, not so much Korean. I think Koreans we we tend to cook our fish more and keep it hot.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a different way to eat fish.
That's my experience with Korean food. I don't really remember eating any much cold Korean food.
Yeah. And then they have a couple cold soups. So it kind of gave the same vibe as that, where you had some vegetables on the side, you had this like murky like soup broth, you had this big pile of fish in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was like, how do I even describe this? It felt uncooked, even though I'm sure it was cooked.
Yes.
But it had some of that like sponginess to it. So then when you bit all the way through, it was not quite like fully cooked meat. It's like it has some like, how do I even describe this, man? It's just like wet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I was telling you, you have to let ceviche marinate and cook in that lime juice for at least overnight. I mean, some people do a whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, as a restaurant, I could see them kind of cutting corners and maybe just like a few hours. Who knows?
Also, for the menu, do they have desserts?
They did, but we were like, we had
done.
so much food.
Yes, dude.
And, I was thinking about that too, just to like try as a conclusion, but
yeah,
maybe that could give you, because Peruvian, they have great desserts. They have great fruits that they implement into the desserts, like lucuma and passion fruit.
Yeah.
But, maybe that can give you an inclination to go back.
Oh, back to Dr. Limon?
Or at any other Peruvian restaurant. I would recommend the Peruvian food and cuisine to anyone that is willing to jump out of their comfort zone for food.
Wow, man. Anything else you want to cover?
Yeah, just what's overall, what's your take on Peruvian food?
It was good. There's definitely a lot to love. Obviously, for right now, I think the more familiar stuff is definitely up my alley. Just because it's my first time having that stuff. Ceviche, I think I could probably take some more time getting used to that because it's such a different way to cook fish than I'm usually used to. The lomo saltado was amazing. Both the appetizers were amazing. I guess I have beef heart now. That junk was fire. I can't wait to go have that again. It's just great, dude. It's awesome.
That's awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, till next time.
Yep. See you guys.